Not yet. Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Good
So,
afternoon. Good
Hi.
evening.
thank you for joining our event by Android Caffeine. We're going to do a recap on the announcement at Android App Summit, which happens in the past 3 days. And join us today. We have uh, we have Thủy, Yo-Yo Cutter. We have Fact, Senior Android Engineer at Lazada. We have Enrique, Principal Engineer at Lazada. We have Toàn Trân, GD Kotlin. And we have Eugene, Project Lead at JetBrains. So thanks everyone for joining. Please stay tuned. If you have any questions, feel free to put in a comment on YouTube or Facebook, and we will go through them later on. Okay. Um, I will leave the stream now. I will still watch it, but I will not be in the stream. So have fun, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Tuấn. Okay, so let's do a brief introductions about ourselves first, so that you can have some more deeper connection with our speaker here. So we have some people coming from Lazada. We have me, Enric, and Fa coming from Lazada. We have Yo-Yo, Coder, Thủy Phan, Thea coming from Line, and we have Erjin coming from JetBrains. So I think we have a lot of like familiar face, like me, Phát, and Enric and Thủy. We were like showing up so many times here in the local communities. So this time, let's have our very first speaker here, Erjin, to introduce a bit about himself. Hello, Erjin.
Hi. I'm glad to see you here. I'm Eugene. I'm working at JetBrains. Right now, I'm doing the project which will soon appear. Before that, I've been doing many things about Kotlin, also speaking about Kotlin. So I'm glad to take part in this talk today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Erjin. So we have Enric. Enric, can you share a bit about your experience recently, like leaving Vietnam and coming back to Vietnam? Gonna be like a hot topic today.
Yes, I'm an expert in entering Vietnam during a pandemic, leaving and coming back. That's my main professional focus. And as a side education, I develop Android at Lazada. I'm also a GD for Kotlin and Android, and I've been speaking in the past about many of the Android Kotlin topics and writing about them. And I'm happy to be back with the Vietnamese community.
Welcome home. Hello, Thủy. Next to you.
Yeah, hi guys. So my name is Thủy Phan, and I'm an aero engineer at Lai Vietnam now. Currently, I'm working on the VOS project. So the Aero Summit this year is interesting to me because it mentions a lot about VOS and some new feature. And I'm happy to be here today to share with you about what I get from Android Dev Summit this year.
Thank you, Thủy. Looking forward. Hello, Phát. How's your day?
Hey everyone, it's Friday. It's supposed to be not a release day today. My name is Vat. I'm currently working on Android, and I'm a software engineer in Lazada, building the logistic application. Love Android and Kotlin, so I decided to be here today and walk through with you guys about all the updates of the Dev Summit in 2021. Happy to be here today.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Phát. So I'm not way be a new guy here, but just a little bit introduction. My name is Toàn. Glad to be with you guys on up here. I'm working with Phát and Enric in the same team. So we are working at Lazada Regional Tech Hub based in Ho Chi Minh City, and very glad to connect with you guys here today. So the very first thing that maybe we on so busy those days, so we had like in the middle of a pandemic globally. We're working from home. I know that how hard it is, and right now we are having a new event. So Android Dev Summit is an event like annually is happening to summarize and to present some new key change in Android development and how the Android framework is evolving and adding new features. and especially we are having like so many changes this year, especially with so many things coming news. So within this section today, we're not going to cover everything, but we would like to get some key point regarding the new change, new update in Android framework itself, how it support, what are the new features that are helping us as Android developer to be like more easier in our life to get the framework, getting supported daily life. So I think let's just get started with the very first thing, like how your experience with this change this year. Maybe I can pick someone to start with. Arjun, you are new here. Maybe you want to share some information about the event today.
Oh, it's really interesting. I'm a little bit far from Android, so right now, and I quickly looked through the event, and I was really touched that their compose is getting everywhere. That people keep using the Jetpack compose to create their awesome UIs and to simplify the code behind the UIs, and it's really interesting for me to notice. And the second thing, I'll probably notice that the flows in Kotlin are getting used wider as well. So as I can remember, it was like 40% apps are using either coroutines, probably it was in the keynote, but it's really interesting as well. So it was really interesting to see how their platform is moving towards. And the second thing, the huge devices. That's something I remember as well. It's cool. It's cool that that we have a support for bigger screens, and it's really touching how easy it is with their compose to write the UI, which is able to support both cases, the small screen and the bigger screens.
Yeah, adaptive
Eugene,
UI.
If I can ask one question, Eugene, you're an expert in Flow, and you've been working with them. There is like in Android this thing of whether live data or Flow, or live data and Flow. Do you have any opinion on how should we use them, or what's the strong aspect of flows or versus live data?
Well, I don't have any opinion right now on this point. Maybe on a given examples, it would be easier to say whether it's good or not. Well, it's always the thing that you need to not forget to close the flow once, for example, an activity is getting outside of the screen and stuff like that, in order to consume less resources on the app and the battery.
Thank you, Eugene. And I know right now you are working at JetBrains, so the company that behind the language itself, Kotlin. So what are your experience in daily life with Kotlin? Are you comfortable using it?
Well, I've started using Kotlin, I guess, somewhere 6 or 7 years ago, where it was far before the 1.0 release. I've created several apps in my time that were the plugins for TeamCity, the continuous integration server at JetBrains. It was really interesting for me to experiment with that language. Then we started I've been using Kotlin for many things, starting from DSLs towards their apps, towards the server side. And right now I'm working on a project where we use Kotlin for the server side from one side. So it's a server side application. We are doing it with a Spring Boot. It's pretty easy because we need something to experiment with to see if our ideas work at first. And actually, on the other end, our project integrates with yet another project, which is called the Toolbox app. And the Toolbox app is done with the Jetpack Compose for desktop. It's an amazing, and I think there was a presentation and a video recording with the team lead of Toolbox app speaking about how they do it. It should be really cool.
Yeah,
that's my experience. So I use Kotlin on all ends, including the Gradle builds, by the way.
Okay, awesome. So you are not using Groovy anymore, right? Right now you're using like Kotlin for configure your Gradle script.
Yes, I do because once you use Gradle with Kotlin scripts, you at least have some IDE support, and getting harder to screw it up. That's why I'm keep using Kotlin DSLs, because once you, for example, copy paste something like a useful code snippet from the internet, it just don't work because the type checks and stuff like that. That's good. It provokes thinking and solving the solution the right way.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Agent. That was a very nice experience with that. We actually like looking for work for so many examples of how Kotlin language itself is using crossing multiple domains. It's not just on the Android framework itself, but rather than we're looking for work to have it everywhere in our life as a developer. So thank you, Agent. Again, hello, Fak. How's your day? And what can you share with us about the event? What is the favorite part from the Android Dev Summit this year?
It's very my side. So it's very impressive that I see the material used now officially introduced at the event. So you remember 5-6 years ago, we have the material design has been the first time that introduced to the first Android version. This is a lollipop, right? Right after the KitKat. And it was like a bomb. And we see something, whole new experiment using the Android apps. But it has been 5 years and we don't see any major update for that material design. So this time we can see that this is a radical and complete update where we can see the new theory, the new look and feel of the Android users. And also they bring that to the Jetpack Compose as well. So right now we have something like the standardization of how we can use the material design inside the Jetpack Compose, which means that could be possibly that we can portable to other cross domain as well, which is very, very useful that we can extend the possibilities of potential of this design to others, to many applications. That is something that's very interesting. Also, in this year, they also provide new API and also supporting for the multiple device at the same time. I mean, in terms of resolution, that is something really painful for the not just in Android developer, but for mobile developer in general. So this year we have something new, something updates for the multiple device to support the large screen. We have many users using large screen device right now, right? Mm-hmm. So having that to be fully support, especially for the development for us, for the developers, could be really nice way that we can stay away from the painful of the supporting for the many resolution at the same time. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. To add something on that, on the like multiple dimensions side supporting. So this year we are seeing the rising of new device, which is foldable device, right? So right now Samsung foldable phone is coming like a new trend on the internet today. I see like a lot of twists on my Twitter to like they are showing off their new device, brand new one, super awesome. But to us, to us as developer, it's gonna be something like nightmare because I'm not sure that my app is like 100% compatible with those new screening. It's gonna be like I don't want to receive so many like complaints from Google Play Store asking me to fix the issue immediately within the night, rolling out the new Android version. So looking forward to have the new supporting coming, and I hope that my new next coming app will like be fully like easy to adapt with the new screen. Gonna be helpful for us, all of us. Thank you again, Fak. Hello, Thầy. So you have some time yesterday to have a chance to catch up with some Googler, right? So can you have to share with us a bit about what are your experience on that on the event this year? What is the most favorite thing you want to share with everyone here today?
Yes, the most favorite thing in Google this year I have a chance to join the roundtable with the Google guys to discuss about the new feature and what we expect and what is the painful that when we use their like Jetpack Compose or the anything new like the media tree. So because I expect to see something new and applies to my current project, like about the clouds.
I think we lost the signal from Thầy.
On the Android
Anyone have to say?
And the new feature on the Android that allow me like new feature on Android that I want, like the network inspector or the work the background work inspector So that allow me to check the performance and what is running. When I use the work manager, our for the flows, so it's they add the repeat on life cycle flow with the life cycle API. Uh, it let us to implement our feature more subtle. It will, for example, like when we use this, when the UI is in background, so the flow will be not active and they will not let the producer active. So it prevent the app crash in the case like you get the
Mhm.
so
I
it will
think we have.
prevent the app crash. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So like
Yeah, it seems like the network is having some impact right now. We having the problem with the international cable network, so it's gonna be like a little bit troublesome for all of us. So for our audience, if you have some experience with like like network broken, forgive us. The network condition here in Vietnam is so bad right now. So thank you again, Thuy, for your sharing on that. Very helpful on the part you sharing about the flow and how the new update getting help out on how the flow could help out to be inside in case like the UI should be disconnected when the app is not actively on the UI. That's very helpful for us, especially coming from the background we are like mostly before. Like most of us were having trouble using AxJava, right? And you have to control the flow of like how you connect the producer of the event of the stream to the consumer of the stream and how you can keeping them as not crashing the app. So that's something definitely helpful for us. Thank you again, Thuy. Hello, Enric. Long time no see, bro. So
Very long
how
time.
how your experience with the event? Are you feeling good about that?
The Android Dev Summit itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's always a summary of things that have been announced through the year, right? Not only one single thing. So, for example, Material U is coming from Google I/O. Jetpack Compose has been announced in several different events, got stable in the last Google I/O, if I recall correctly, or a little bit earlier. So now we're sort of putting together everything that is on the Android world. Yeah, I think it's always a nice refreshing. And I actually, now that Eugene is here, there are a lot of things that I think are super interesting, not always in this event. Things like, for example, we've mentioned Jetpack Compose for desktop, right? And talk about that briefly. There is also the KMP, Kotlin multi-platform, which it's also a fantastic thing. And I'm not sure how well could combine the fact that we have Compose for desktop and Kotlin multi-platform could be used for other sort of modules. So I'm not sure. By the way, do you folks have experience with it with KMP? Have you used it in any productive project?
No, so far I'm not using any like KMB right now. Actively with Kotlin, just some playground project. Like hobby want to try now things when there's now an update on that. How about Fact and Ocean? Are you trying something with Kotlin KMB, Kotlin multiple platform?
Yeah. So actually, I've been experimenting a little bit with that. So I've tried to reuse the code between their web, so their JavaScript targets and their JVM target. It worked pretty well. And they're speaking about the compose today. I've seen their unknowns on their JetBrains blog that we have the compose are multi-platform. So it means that the compose definitions are moved up to the common Kotlin code, and you can technically reuse the same like UI or logic between different platforms. I'm not sure if all the controls are the same, but technically you may have the same code written once, and then it's compiled to the Android using Android Compose, Jetpack Compose for the Android target. It may use something different on iOS. I'm not sure how it works on iOS. And moreover, it can use the JetBrains Compose for desktop to create the same desktop running app, and even more, the same approach can be applied for the Compose for web. That's something
Yeah.
interesting. I've just seen the post like hour ago before our meetup today. So it's really promising. It's really interesting to see. And moreover, we're using Just Compose for desktop with the JVM target in Toolbox app. It works pretty cool. So if you, by the way, are you folks using the Toolbox app?
No,
So
not
not-
really.
No,
Not right
really.
now?
It's a tiny app which helps to install Android Studio and other IDEs from JetBrains just within one app, and it helps you to be up to date. It's really cool one. It's really tiny, and now thanks to Compose for desktop, it consumes like almost no resources. It's not bringing the Chrome like the standard, how it's called, the Chromium inside. It is just the Compose and a small JVM application.
Let me see if maybe we can write it on YouTube so our
Yeah,
viewers can.
It's gonna helpful if you can put a links of the.
Oh,
of
sure.
the app.
Let me find the right link for you a moment.
I think I have it now. So it's like a widget on the MacBook, right? When you click on it, you can see all the installed application that already from the JetBrains on your computer, right? And then you can
Exactly.
update to the
exactly.
latest version anytime. Yeah.
Yeah, can you
So
have put a command?
I post it on the channel.
Yeah, I
Okay.
posted the
People
link on the
can-
channel. So
Awesome. And that were written in Kotlin, right?
yeah, it's written in Kotlin, and it uses Compose for desktop inside. And there is a long story about this project because it has started as a hackathon project at JetBrains back years ago, way before the Compose was created.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I just put the links of Toolbox. I think I heard about that Toolbox, and
Yeah,
I
if you-
try to use one, especially when we have a multiple of version to be trying out. There will be an ERP version of the IDE when we want to try out new feature. I use this Toolbox to get the version and control it. I think now I have some memory on that.
Yeah, exactly. You may turn on my screen if for a moment if you like. I can show you a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to get your screen alive.
But
No,
I
no,
cannot
it's-
see now the StreamYard. So yeah, you see me now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
Everyone.
So this is the Toolbox app. So it shows you the tools which you can have, and you can install more tools here. Just say install. You can have a tool side by side, and you can go to the settings and see how you would like to be upgraded, or what the configuration options has to be, like in memory options you can turn here, or other JVM options, or even the data folder, or the name of the tool. And the second tab shows you their projects. So it is able to see all the projects which you have on your computer, and it will just, you click here and it will open the right IDE for you to run. And this thing is using Jetpack Compose for desktop to run.
That's really nice.
Nice.
And compiled then obviously for Mac and Windows without too much trouble.
It's Windows, it's Mac, it's Linux. We support all platforms, including M1 platform. So just pick the right installer from the link we've shared.
nice.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Okay,
And
now I
it
know.
should
Now,
be-
now I know the one who
You can
behind
even-
this.
You can even install Android Studio.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you support, or does it support like all the beta and canary versions from Android
Yes.
Studio? Because I think
Yeah.
that's a particular constellation for Android developers, that you need to have the latest beta, the latest canary, and the stable.
Yeah, I think yes.
Oh,
when
yeah.
I can see the active version on this one as well.
It's now it's suggesting this patch 3, but you may go like you may open the IDE and here is like there should be other versions, and you can pick any versions you like. The same for Android Studio.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you may have the server versions installed side by side as well if you like, if you need it. For example, just like myself, I have like a bunch of IntelliJ IDEs for different purposes in my case.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
see.
very
I can simply update it like this. It will just update it for me. I don't need to care the folders. I don't need to care the destinations and stuff like that. So it just updates, and that's it.
Yeah,
It's done.
very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Adrian, for sharing that. Thank you, Adrian.
Welcome.
Okay. So Eric, I heard I believe that a couple of weeks ago we're talking about something about I don't know, like Kotlin symbol processing, right? KSB, which to be replace the KBT that previously using. So you were mentioning something about that part, right? So can you share a bit about like how were your experience with using KSB? I believe that it was one of the topics that getting involved in the event a couple of days ago for Android Summit, sharing about KSB to be replaced KBT.
I honestly haven't used it personally. I remember in the last event we discussed it. It was released like I think like a few months ago, not that long ago. But I haven't personally used it. I know it's this API to make compiler plugins that is very lightweight and easy to use. But I didn't have yet the chance to use it. Not sure if any of you have done it yet.
I have not tried it out yet, but yesterday when I tried to look in for some change in the recent let's talk about the platform of Android and Kotlin, then they are going to change something and apply some change regarding like moving from KBT to KSB. And with their experience with the Room compiling, the Room library is the very famous one that we're using for data storage. When they try with the KSB, the experience with that, the compile time were like reducing a half, and that were a huge improvement regarding the efficiencies of the language and the foundation for Android compilation platform. So I think that was something worth to mention here. So I think it's good time for us to take a deeper look into the event itself. So Phát, can you quickly have to share some recap regarding the events? There's some update on the Google Android developer blog. So you don't mind, can you share your screen on that? We can go through a bit of the item there. I'm going to
Can you confirm if you?
Yeah, I'm adding your screen on air right now. So Phát, can you walk us through some chain mentioned here?
Can you confirm if you can see my screen now? Is it big enough to see?
I can see it.
See your screen.
Yeah. So there is a couple of the news updates on the first thing that they bring the material used to Jetpack Compose, right? So which means that they are fully support for that, and then we can use that inside the code itself directly. So if you guys have any question or any comment for this, just stop it at any time, right? So
yeah,
with it, you can.
I saw there's announcing the new version of Jetpack Compose as well, and I do looking forward that in the new release of Jetpack Compose they are fully support material use design style. That was something in the roadmap for Jetpack Compose team. They were mentioning about the ability supporting material design, material use style guide, and component style as well. So maybe in the next couple of months we will be able to have the out of the box supporting for teaming and styling following the material use guideline. That is something I'm looking for right now.
Yeah.
Continue, Phát.
So yeah. So the material use, which is they also call that material design 3, that is equivalent, right? So with this, they can provide 2 API that can help you to identify the dynamic color from your wallpaper. And then additionally, at the same time, you can also setting up the static color that you want to put that apply to the app level. So for the Jetpack Compose, they will respect that and then apply that style, color, and theme to the entire app. So which is very nice for us to personalize your style inside the app in the app directly. Next thing, we have more features to be introduced in Jetpack Compose. We already mentioned about this, so let's walk through very quickly about that. So they added the update for the navigation to support for the scenario when we have multiple backstack. We also now Word Manager is our recommendation solution to persistent word, including for the making API, including for the schedule for some job in the background. And then talking about background, we have some restriction on the new Android version when they are not allow you to start the active. I mean the service when you are still in the background, and many other things. One of them is that we have a new application to benchmark the app to measure and improve your performance and the frame to be reviewed when you develop the Android application, which is very nice.
I think previously for doing benchmarking, right? We can run our app in debug mode, right? And then we can attack the profiler to run profiling for our application. But it's gonna be like a little bit not, like if you have a debug mode and you have your profile running in, then it's not really like a profiler things, because you are actually having your app in debug mode. It's not something that like 100% look live with the production app. So a profiler mode for me is looking like much more improvement in terms of you can have a realistic feeling of how the production app gonna be, and it actually benchmarking again the production setting. It's not just a benchmarking again the production setting, right? So it definitely is something to have it in having a much better view on the product on the health of the app. And there's something like I remember like a couple of months ago we have a section for our Android meetup in Vietnam here in Saigon in Ho Chi Minh City and we have Alina, right? Enric, you remember it? Alina was coming in and she was like mentioning about data store. She had a section about 30 minutes to present about data store, and I think it is coming to 1.0, right? You remember about that?
Yeah, it's now stable. So we have now the 1.0, which ensures that no API is broken, and it's an amazing idea to start introducing in our project, since that means that we will not have to review any problem in version 1.1, which is, by the way, the same thing to Jetpack.
Yeah, so I think one of the key things is that data store actually like having a very good promotion regarding the way that we're using coroutine to backing up the data storage. So with synchronous way using data share preference, you have no way, there will be like no transaction. There's no like secure way to making sure that your data is storing in a way that is not impacting your performance of the app. But here there will be asynchronous way and transaction really supporting thing. Urgent, I heard in the previous section, in the early of this section, you mentioned about data store, right? You have some like working experience with data store there. Have you tried out?
No, actually, I don't have any experience in data stores. I was really just saying that the fact that people keep using flows to connect with their asynchronous stuff, so to connect the UI events and their updates to UI, I was just saying it's a good idea. I guess it looks like it reduces the complexity, but I'm here only like from theory side. So and the practices tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it will very much on the way that we can push the coroutine and flow in a way that is like more practice, put into practice. We have some actual library there and incorporate this chain by default. And I think that for the chain that for Android 12 background restriction, it's gonna be having a huge impact on our daily usage of the app, especially with the consumer app. I think on this point, you have to have some change in your work, right? To support to get in the app, changing the behavior, especially when somebody is clicking on the notification and you're not going to like start doing some work when your app is still in the background. I know that there's a lot of apps right now using some trick. For example, they put in some notification on the notification center. Then when the user click on that, it do some kind of like data synchronize, so put some data or fetch some data in the background. So I think that with this chain in the background restriction, it's gonna put some chain on the app and how the app behaves toward the user experience, more focusing on how we can optimize the app. So Thuy, are you ready for this chain? Can you share a bit like your plan on adapting with this chain?
Yes, for this change, I follow the content of the work manager this year. So I know it has some restriction on the background and foreground service. So Yes.
Yeah, the internet
Uh,
is broken again.
yeah, I'm ready to apply. Okay. Yes. So for the work manager, it's support us more on this change. So I think it's not. It's easy. It's not difficult for me to adapt to this change on Android, new Android. Yeah.
Thank you, Thủy. And I'm really looking forward to have a section with your sharing on how you are getting the app updated with this change, because I know that for some app it's gonna be like a little bit troublesome because people were like developer were like trying to hack, trying to like like take advantage of the framework so much in a way that keep the app running in the background and do some job that is not actually when the user in foreground. So it's gonna be some troublesome there. So give it back to you, Fak. Can you have sharing the rest of the content? Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, no worries, man. And we forgot to talk about the one of the nice update from the room. Then we had an auto migration to simplify the migrate script when we want to do some simple work like change the name of the table or column. So that would be something nice to have as well. Okay, next to the next thing, we had the building across the device. Now we have many dimension and resolution to be supported in Android devices. We have like 1,000 brand and we have many release resolution that we need to support. Especially in this year, we have the new device, new type of device foldable to be released. So, which is bring the very good experiment to the user, but also at the same time from the developer's perspective, that is something that we need to learn to support for that. So I heard about we have some update of the emulators and also for the debug mode in terms of support for this kind of device. So let me stop sharing and open a new screen for that. We have
the emulator, right? The emulator now support the folding mode for device, right? Can you share a bit with that?
Yeah.
I do hope that your Android still is not getting frozen.
Let me let me check very quickly and share my screen.
Okay, waiting for that. And by the way, are you guys upgrade to Android 12?
Yes, I am.
Yes, if you have a Pixel, you can get the beta
Nice.
program and the last version.
Yeah.
Nice. I got my Pixel twice upgraded.
Yeah. Okay. Can you see my screen now, right?
Yeah, it's on air now.
Okay. It's not really in the event a few days ago, but also something that we really training, I think. The first thing that now we have the ARM64 to be fully supported, and also this is a very good notice. That we are going to support for the M1 chip, which is also based on ARM, and we can have something natively running on the M1 new MacBook. So which is boosts a lot of effective and productivity of our side, right? Also, we also have the new way to fully support for the foldable device. As you can see here, we can rotate, we can change the direction and the dimension of this device in whatever edge that we want. So if you want to test for the new foldable device, you can also using the emulator for that. So which is a very nice support from the Google team for the new type of device. So do you have any feedback for this?
I think that is pretty cool, but I would rather to have a foldable phone on my own hands to test it out. I'm still looking forward to that. Are you guys having any foldable phone to test it out right now?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Maybe I'm going to have the next section on like hand-on the new phone to test out the features of Android Studio. That would be awesome. Okay, thank you.
That is also one of the advantage of the mobile device, right? So whenever we have any new mobile app to be released and then we can have it to test, we can request for the company for that.
Yeah, I think a very reasonable reason to ask our company to buy a new device for testing. Definitely rationale. Good rationale. Okay, thank you, Fak. Can you go back to the recap? I think that there's still some change in the background, right? We still
Give
have
me
a
one.
couple of change.
Yeah, give me a moment.
Maybe it's also worth to explain as well. We have this Android, so this version of Android supporting, of course, to support the foldable devices, we had already a few visual components as the sliding pane layout stuff. I think Jetpack Compose is also offering a few things for foldable devices, but now Android, in fact, has this Android 12L version, which is Android focused on large devices. And that's interesting because we had the same in Honeycomb, right? When the version 3.0 was coming out, and that was when the fragments were introduced, and how the fragments started interacting with activities and the relationship they have. And seems that that was, I think, probably not so successful as Google thought. We still use fragments, but mostly not to support tablets. So let's see, maybe this is the second attempt of Google on having a framework to properly support tablet development.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. Actually, in Jetpack Compose, they do support for the library. That, if I remember correctly, that is window managers or panel managers that can help you to manage and maintain on the screen, on the window, on the panel, on the screen, especially for a large app when you can arrange and have many things on the can show many things on the phone. So that would be something great for the developer to support Jetpack Compose and for the last screen.
Yeah, regard to the last screen, so I see that the Android Studio Bumblebee will support us to check like the visual lighting, to check the whether our design it work well on screen like phone and large screen like portable device. So that, when we click validate, it will show some warning to see what view is not show on that screen on that device. So I think it's really useful for developer to check the UI.
Are you saying that it is something that available right now on Android Studio?
Yes, it's not really yet. It's just in on the Bumblebee. You know.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I see. So there's special version for that. Okay, I see. When talking about last screen, I think that what I'm expecting right now, I do want to see if there's any vendors like coming up with a laptop that run in Android. Actually, is that was the one that I would love to see, because like Android had been like so friendly in the lightweight chip and like the configuration of the spec of the device chip, and can be affordable for like for student, for some like low income countries. Then if it could be running on Android operating system, then it would be like more affordable for everyone, and especially when there's a lot of attempt previously with the tablet. But I think that if we are moving to another work like using it as a full flat laptop, then it's gonna be like more power to the Android work as well. Looking forward to see some vendor coming with that, with a new version of Android. So, Fact, is there anything else in the rest of the list?
I think we have some. And that should be introducing for the new version. I mean the version 12L, right?
Mm-hmm.
That will be supported for the last screen again. And also additionally, this is something relevant. In the latest version of Windows 11, right? They do say that they can support for the Android app to be running natively, which means we have something to be supported in the futures. I tried to test with the latest version of the Windows 11, but they say that my computer is not meet the minimum requirement, so I cannot install for that version. But yeah, looking forward, we do have the promising features of the Android device. I mean, in Android version OS.
Wow. Okay, I see. So in the meantime, I don't know if there's some kind of like a common sharing background between, because like Google itself, like Google pushing through another attempt. We have like Fuchsia operating system, which is like introduced at the like I don't know like Ubiquiti framework. that could be run like anywhere from the car, from the device like phone, from the other like TV or other framework. And there are also some kind of like popular framework like Chrome OS as well, which is another like moonshot of Google trying to have the framework or to have the operating system to run everywhere, even on the mobile device. We have laptop that run Chrome OS that no doubt provide a very good experience on the user side. Right now we have another team of Android which is tackling on those kind of like different kind of screen size device. So I do see that it has been like a lot of attempt to push in one operating system running everywhere and provide like kind of like ubiquitous experience for the user. Uh, I do looking forward to see some new examples. Especially we have a very huge ecosystem of Android app right now. I think that we have so many advantages of having the Android framework to run on different device and have a a global universe experience for the user. So I think that were something major during the section today we want to share. Is there anything else that you guys want to share regarding the some finding, something that you find interesting from the event?
Yes, for me, so this year I interested in the setback media tree. So if you like if you want to play handle any media like the audio or video, so if we use the media tree, so our work will be simpler instead of we have to control the media system and SO player and the UI components. So if we use media tree, our work will be like reduced a lot, and it is look very promising.
So it's gonna be applied for both audio and video shot, right?
Yes,
All right, I see. It could be
even even it's still unfair version, but
Mhm.
it looks good and it's easy to integrate from media 2 and media session on media compact to this version. And the Google guy said that they will prepare more doc and guide for developer to apply and some uh, um, some tool to easy to migrate from the media 2 to media 3 in the future. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
looking forward to that because when we're talking about audio and video, there will be a lot of work regarding compatible with the hardware and the vendor themselves because there will be different kind of hardware codec need to be support as well. And talking about this kind of support, I would recall one of the similar experience that I had is that Google were working on something really awesome that is Camera X library. So that was a very huge attempt, and it had been like my observation is that I would definitely to migrate all of my app to Camera X when the library is ready, even it in a beta state. But that was something that 2 years ago, and so far up to now, the library is still in alpha, and that was something that I'm still looking forward because when you're talking about like hardware supporting, there will be like thousands of different kind of hardware and vendor over there, and you trying to making something put into one library that is when you just write something and work everywhere is something really difficult. I know that is really difficult, and looking forward to seeing something like that happening with the media player or there also. So, Eugen, is there something else you want to share regarding like the event this year? Something that you would like to, like make people want to remind about it and want to try out about it from the event?
Oh, so it's really hard to say. Well, as I started it from the beginning, I've noticed that the Compose 1.1 has come and it's being widely adopted in the ecosystem, and that is really cool. And the libraries which helps us to create the really nice UIs easier than it used to be before. It's really amazing.
Mm.
It's nothing new, sadly, but this is my
Yeah,
takeaways which I can recall. But to be
yeah,
fair, I'm a little bit far from Android hands-on Android development. That's why uh, I see the like maybe the global hotspot highlights on the right now.
I see. I do see that there's some improvement regarding the tooling as well, and the tooling space especially really important for Android developer, because what we are proud in here is that we also like for iOS developer, right? Yet they have like Xcode from the day one of the supporting. We already have the very previous IDE, and now we are having Android Studio to support it, and they keep in like improving every day. I do see that there's a lot of progress in making the tooling better, especially in the term of like foundation. We are migrating from, we have some change from the KBT changing to KSB, calling symbol processing, something that help speeding up and help booking up the productivity of our developer. Let's say like saving you guys like 5 minutes, I don't know, like 20 seconds per compiling. When you hit compiling, it's gonna save you a lot of time during your lifetime as an Android developer, right? So that is definitely something help here. Enrique, is there something else you want to share?
Not particularly. We have already discussed many things. I'm particularly excited about all the Compose stuff coming in. I think some of the libraries are coming with a bunch of goodies. So I like particularly from Room the auto migrations. That's something that makes life really easy. It's something that tends to mess the code quite a bit, and now can be done very easily. Android 12 comes with a bunch of nice things. So we have things such as the new Bluetooth permissions, which is going to be interesting. The new splash screen with animation, something that has broken literally 99% of the apps on the market. If you have Android 12 on your device and you open any single app, you'll see how they are pretty broken. But if you open an app that actually has a proper splash animation, it's fantastic. Things like Gmail, they're so visual and well done. And it's such a small thing, but the thing is, you open several apps per day, and it enforces sort of this nice UX pattern. A few more things. So there is also the Camera X, right, with the 1.1, which we haven't discussed. Comes with a nice APIs. It has a lot of conversion, very efficient conversion between color schemas. The RGB, YB. There is also a new API for video capturing and video editing, which makes things super easy directly within the API. We don't need to manually download video and operate with it. I think from Android 12, maybe one last thing, this API for blurring components, which I think is fantastic. I had before a blurring API, CVBlock for Android. Sorry, blurry app for Android, and was essentially doing the same operation, taking a view, applying a blurry algorithm from either C++ or RenderScript or Java, and now you can directly do it from the API, which is not blurry, apply the schema, all the options you want. So yeah, I think there are a bunch of things coming in, and of course all the things from the Kotlin world that haven't been discussed in the Android Dev Summit, but are super relevant. I'm super excited with Kotlin multi-platform. I think it's going to be super nice. As a small criticism, it's not that easy for iOS developers because it interprets through Objective-C, and things like not having default arguments in Objective-C, or not having like exhaustive enums as in Kotlin, or these sort of things sometimes makes you can compile as you would like on the Swift side of things. But that's, for me, is the trend, together with Compose, of serving Android in the upcoming months.
All right. Thank you, Enric. Thank you for your insight sharing on that, especially with KNB. I do looking for work, like more and more projects are coming in with the ability to support crossing framework development like that one, and very potentially that we have a very nice language, and we have a very good background to pushing the language through the Bowery to support on multiple platforms here. So I think that was pretty much what we want to cover today with the event. And to close the event again, thank you so much for your time today, attending to that. I know it's Friday night, and you guys want to have some break. Thank you so much for spending time with us. And to our audience out there, we are looking forward to have a multiple event coming in with a lot of like awesome guests coming from all over the world coming into our series of event. And thank you again for your time, and looking forward to seeing you in the future. Thank you again. Bye bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
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 Yeah.